From the well to a new destiny. Welcome back to the channel. If you're enjoying this journey through the incredible story of Prophet Joseph, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next episode. At the end of our last episode, Joseph's brothers returned home carrying a blood-stained shirt, convincing their father that a wolf had devoured his beloved son. But Prophet Jacob, with unwavering faith, refused to believe their deception completely. Through tears and heartbreak, he placed his trust in Allah, knowing that only He knows the full truth. And while Jacob's heart was breaking in Canaan, Allah's plan for Joseph was already unfolding. Deep inside the lonely well, the young boy waited in complete darkness. The voices of his brothers had faded away, and silence surrounded him. He was separated from his father, abandoned by those he trusted most, and left with nothing except his faith in Allah. To anyone looking at the situation, it seemed like the end of Joseph's story, but in reality, it was only the beginning. As the scorching desert sun rose over the land, a trading caravan made its way across the wilderness. These merchants traveled long distances, carrying goods between distant cities. Like every caravan crossing the desert, they searched constantly for water to continue their difficult journey. Without knowing it, they were about to become part of one of history's greatest stories. When they approached the well, one of the travelers volunteered to draw water. He lowered his bucket carefully into the darkness below, expecting nothing more than cool water. But something unexpected happened. The bucket became unusually heavy. Confused, the man slowly pulled the rope upward. As the bucket reached the surface, everyone froze in disbelief. Clinging to the rope was not water, it was a young boy, covered in dust but possessing extraordinary beauty. Joseph emerged from the darkness into the light. The man could hardly believe what he was seeing. With excitement, he called out to the others, "Good news, here is a boy!" The travelers quickly gathered around him. Who was this child? Where had he come from? Why was he alone inside a deep well in the middle of the desert? They had no answers, but instead of searching for his family, many of them saw something else: opportunity. In those days, slavery existed across many regions, and children without families were often sold in marketplaces. The caravan realized they could present Joseph as merchandise and earn money from selling him, so they decided to keep him hidden. Joseph was no longer treated as a frightened child searching for his family. He became a secret, a commodity, something to be sold. The caravan resumed its journey, leaving the well behind forever. Every step of the journey carried Joseph farther away from his father. The mountains of Canaan slowly disappeared behind them. Ahead lay the mighty land of Egypt, one of the greatest civilizations on earth. For days they crossed endless deserts beneath the blazing sun. The nights were cold and silent. The stars filled the sky above the caravan, while Joseph quietly reflected on everything that had happened. Only a short time earlier, he had been living peacefully beside his loving father. Then came jealousy, then betrayal, then the darkness of the well. Now he was traveling toward a country he had never seen before. Most people would have lost hope, but Allah was guiding every single step. Nothing that had happened was an accident. Every hardship was leading Joseph toward a destiny greater than anyone could imagine. Finally, the caravan reached Egypt. Before them stood a magnificent land filled with fertile fields, the flowing Nile, crowded streets, towering buildings, and bustling markets. Merchants from different nations filled the city, buying and selling goods from every corner of the known world. Joseph looked around at this unfamiliar place. Everything was different: the language, the people, the customs, the sights. He was completely alone. Soon the caravan took him to the slave market. There, people examined servants and slaves as if they were ordinary merchandise. Joseph, despite his young age, stood with remarkable dignity. His noble character could not be hidden. His calmness could not be bought. His faith could not be broken. Yet the men who brought him cared only about making a quick profit. The Quran tells us that they sold him for only a few silver coins because they placed little value on him. What seemed like a cheap sale in the eyes of men was, in reality, part of Allah's perfect plan. Among those present was one of Egypt's most respected officials, the Aziz, a man of great authority and influence. The moment he saw Joseph, something caught his attention. This was no ordinary child. There was honesty in his face, dignity in his character. and a calmness that seemed impossible for someone who had endured so much suffering. The Aziz made his decision. He purchased Joseph and brought him home. When he arrived, he spoke to his wife with words that would shape the next chapter of Joseph's life forever. He said, "Treat him honorably. Perhaps he will benefit us, or we may adopt him as a son." Those words marked the end of Joseph's life as a slave in the marketplace and the beginning of a completely new chapter inside one of Egypt's most powerful households. Joseph's life in the house of the Aziz marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Although he had entered Egypt as a servant, Allah was preparing him for a destiny far greater than anyone could imagine. The Aziz honored his promise to treat Joseph kindly, providing him with a safe home where he could grow instead of being treated with cruelty. As the years passed, Joseph matured into a young man whose character reflected truthfulness, humility, patience, and unwavering faith. The hardships he had endured never filled his heart with anger or hatred. Instead, they strengthened his trust in Allah. While others admired his extraordinary appearance, those who truly knew him admired something even greater: his honesty, wisdom, and noble character. Every experience he had endured since leaving his father's home was quietly shaping him for the mission that awaited him. As Joseph grew older, Allah blessed him with exceptional wisdom and understanding. The Quran tells us that when he reached maturity, Allah granted him wisdom and knowledge, rewarding him for his righteousness and steadfast faith. Inside the palace, Joseph earned the respect of everyone around him. He carried out every responsibility with sincerity, never seeking status or praise for himself. His calm manner, gentle speech, and trustworthy nature made him stand out from everyone else. To the people of the household, he was no longer simply a servant purchased from a marketplace. He had become someone whose presence inspired confidence and respect. Yet none of them realized that Allah was preparing him for a far greater responsibility, one that would eventually affect the future of an entire nation. But as the years passed, another test was quietly approaching. The same beauty that Allah had blessed Joseph with began to attract attention inside the palace. His handsome appearance was matched by purity of heart, dignity, and modesty, qualities that made him unlike any other man. Among those who saw him every day was the wife of the Aziz. At first, her admiration seemed ordinary, but little by little, her feelings began to change. What started as simple appreciation slowly became something far more dangerous. Hidden behind the luxurious walls of the palace, emotions were growing that no one else could see. Joseph remained completely devoted to Allah, unaware that a difficult trial was drawing closer with every passing day. Everything that had happened to Joseph until this moment, the jealousy of his brothers, the darkness of the well, the long journey across the desert, and his unexpected arrival in Egypt had all been steps in Allah's perfect plan. Yet his greatest test was still ahead. It would not come from enemies in the desert or strangers in a marketplace, but from within the very home that had sheltered him for years. Behind the closed doors of the palace, events were beginning to unfold that would reveal the strength of Joseph's faith and become one of the greatest lessons of purity, patience, and devotion in history. But that remarkable story belongs to our next episode.